A single comment, a single joke, and suddenly what was once an isolated moment becomes the way students talk at a school. You see, some of the most powerful culture shifts in your school don't start with big assemblies or official rules. I mean, they're part of it, but really they start in the hallway, in the group chats, and at the lunch table. And those moments, well, they ripple out further than you think. You see, when most people think of school culture, they think of leadership days, values poster, or big events. And yes, that's all part of it. But here's the truth. Culture is built in the micro moments. For example, a year 7 student makes a joke about someone's food from home and everyone laughs. And in that moment, no teacher hears it. No one calls it out. Well, fast forward the following term and it's no longer just a joke anymore. It's now been normalized and it's just what people say. That's the ripple effect. A small moment turning into a long-term habit and culture. And we see this all too often in schools. A 2023 Racism It Stops With Me report found that over 70% of culturally diverse students said that teasing and jokes shaped the way others treated them at school. And here's the thing, culture doesn't care about our intent. It only cares about our impact. You know, I've been in schools where after a presentation, I've had young people come up to me and share with me some of the phrases that they're being called by their peers, by their classmates. I've had people share with me quite emotionally about how much it's crushed their self-esteem. Even one particular boy about how people pronounce his name to a point where he actually hates the sound of his name now. This is how ripples work. It's tiny drops of disrespect repeated enough times that it drowns out someone's sense of belonging, their sense of worth, value, and even perhaps identity. And when these negative ripples happen, the school feels it. The impact goes deep beyond just a bad mood. In fact, students stop speaking up. I mean, if you think about it, if a student hears a racist joke or sees someone being picked on because of their background and nothing is said, what message does that send? It tells them, hey, your voice doesn't matter here. It's not safe to challenge this. This silence allows the problem to continue and we lose out on the vital feedback and our students become less and less empowered to stand up for themselves and for each other. Not only that, but when these ripples continue, cliques get tighter and divisions get deeper. Racism and even casual racism thrives in environments where groups are already separated. When students from diverse backgrounds feel targeted or unheard, they naturally retreat into their own circles. This prevents true integration, empathy, and understanding. And it creates an us versus them mentality that directly undermines the inclusive community that we all strive to build as schools. These walls between the groups become higher and harder to break over time. When nothing is done, young people begin to think from, these diverse backgrounds, does anyone really care around here? The loss of trust is devastating. And we lose our ability to truly support and guide the students that need us most. These students might stop going to teachers with their problems or even withdraw from school life altogether. Why? Because they don't feel supported or feel like someone cares. The overall vibe is that a school then for a young person becomes less and less safe for them. You see, this is how just one ripple can turn into a powerful current. And that current can pull your positive school culture and the very foundation of your community right under. It leaves behind a sense of unease, disunity, and a learning environment that feels anything but welcoming to all. But here's the good news. The ripple works both ways. You see, positive ripples are just as contagious as the negative ones. In fact, one student calling out disrespect in a calm, confident way. Another example is one group deciding that we don't joke about, stuff like that here. The most effective schools I've seen don't just punish bad behavior. They proactively embed seeds of positive culture. And here is how they do it. Empowering students to check the ripple before they speak. In other words, ask yourself, if 10 people copied me right now, would our culture be better or worse? Helping young people understand that their words can, change the culture is really important. And so that question is framed really well for them to decide. Number 2 is to empower the upstanders. Give students simple, non-confrontational language to interrupt harmful moments. For example, one that I love, it's in the movie Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. They say with this, we don't do that here, eh? Or maybe that's not the vibe. Maybe it's, hey, that's not cool. We don't say that here. The third and final one is for us to model this every day. You see, teachers and leaders and, CRT staff, we have an incredible opportunity with our words to model to young people what all of this looks like. You see, when positive ripples dominate, the school culture starts to protect itself. You see, students start to self-correct and people start standing up without needing an audience, and respect becomes what's normal. The schools that I work with, well, some of them experience a 40% drop in peer conflict reports in just a term, not because they added more rules and, more detentions, no, but because the students took ownership of their words. This was actually achieved through our pledge program that we run in schools. So if your school wants to flip the ripples from negative to positive, this is where I, Eric, can help. Through my Upstanders and I Belong workshop, we can empower your students with tools to identify negative ripples early, to replace harmful habits with positive ones, to embed upstander behavior into your school's DNA through your school's values. And so to get started or to have a conversation, you can book a chat at agyeman.com for a discovery call, because here's the truth. Here's what I know. There is a ripple that's already happening in your school. The only question is, which direction is that ripple moving in?